Sairam, everyone. Welcome to the 27th episode of the AWE series. Today we've called it the yagna approach. It's a prescription for karma yoga, but before we even get there, let's get started with a prayer. Om. 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 Dear Baba, today we try to understand the yagya spirit in the context of karma yoga. Please be our thoughts, our words, our understanding, and help us, guide us as we try to understand this topic better, this topic of yagya, and please help us put to practice what we learned today. Sairam. Sairam again. Today, Kiran, Natasha, Chitra, and I will be presenting this episode under the guidance of Brother Suresh Govind. Welcome, brother. So we have been talking about karma and karma yoga. We talked in great depths last month. Simply put, karma is action, right? And when we try to divinize this action, we are walking on this path of karma yoga. Let's see what Baba has to say about karma and karma yoga.
కర్మ యోగమునకు ఉండినటువంటి వ్యత్యాసాన్ని గుర్తించి వర్తించాలి. One has to conduct oneself knowing fully well the difference between action and an action which is an offering. ఫలాపేక్షతో అహంకారముతో స్వార్థముతో ఆచరించినటువంటి కర్మలు. All those actions which are performed expecting fruits thereof with a sense of ego and doership and with selfishness, these are all mere actions. నిరహంకారముతో ఫలాపేక్ష రహితంగా ఆచరించినవన్నీను కర్మయోగములు. All those actions which are free from expectation of fruit, selfishness and ego and doership, they are all yoga.
All right. So hopefully that gave us a little more about karma and karma yoga.
కర్మయోగమునకు ఉండినటువంటి
last month we also explored the different components of karma yoga. That is, we start with a goal, and the goal has to be about a greater good, right? We have to let go of our self-interest, and definitely we follow the acronym OM, objective, noble, and motive pure. And then we start acting. But then we bring in sacredness, that divinity, into every action, whether it is folding laundries or doing our day-to-day jobs. We try to make all our to-dos into tadas. And when it is result time, we don't get attached to our results, whether they were as expected or otherwise. And if we follow all of these steps, the ultimate outcome is peace and happiness. So these were the components of karma yoga. And so we start here with a new verse. Chapter 3, verse 9 says that work must be done as a yagya to the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, for the satisfaction of God, perform your prescribed duties without being attached to the result. So we see that this word has been mentioned here for the first time, the word yagya. So what is it? I'm sure many of us have seen this. It's a sacrificial fire where we make an offering to this fire, right? And fire is that it symbolizes transformation, transmutation, and even purity, right? So I don't know if it's still practiced today, but in those earlier, if they wanted, let's say, rain, the villagers would, they would perform this yagya, and from their own kitchen, they would bring these offerings of rice and grain and offer to the fire, hoping that the gods would be pleased and they would have rain. But then there's an element of detachment there in that they don't say, oh, I gave this rice or I gave that amount of rice, or whether rain happens or not is definitely not under their control. So they just leave it to the God. So that spirit of, there is an element of sacrifice and also surrender. And those are the two main components of yagya. And
Yagna.
that's why today we call it the double treatment, the S and S double treatment, sacrifice and surrender, right? So we ask you to take a moment just to think what sacrifice would mean to you and what surrender would mean to you. And so you can scan this Menti code and share your answers with us. So I hope you all got to scan this code.
Is the Menti open?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to scan when I'm already on the phone. Is it
Oh, you
chat?
probably won't be able to do that. If you're only on the phone, then maybe you could just type your answers in the chat, and maybe Kiran or Natasha could read out the answers. I think that would be.
Or you could go to menti.com and put that code that you see on the site.
Okay, thank
In
you.
your
Oh,
phone.
yeah. So we have one answer so far: giving up, letting go, doing something out of your comfort zone as the cost of something you like, to give up everything. Oh my. Losing the doership, offering our bad qualities, giving with no expectations, putting others before you. Oh, wonderful answers. Wonderful answers. Thank you so much. Yes. The act of giving up your wants and needs for a higher purpose. Absolutely. Offering what I like a lot. Detachment from actions. Giving up even what we like. Yes. Great answers. Okay. Don't need to be right. Putting others before us. Definitely. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next question. What is surrender? Kiran, would you like to just read out the answers from the chat? I'm sure they have. I see some 5 responses. So
I mean,
maybe.
like it's just about meeting. It's not about any answer.
Oh,
I don't see.
okay. All right. Okay, then. Do you see the next question? What is surrender? Okay.
Yeah.
No expectation of results. Acceptance of whatever happens as a gift. Letting go of control. Doing your best and leaving it to God. Yes, nishkama karma, you're not the doer. No doership, acceptance, worry-free life. Yes, God's will is my will. Not interested in the fruit of your action. Yes, wonderful answers.
Yes. Somebody texted, Preeti texted, let go, let God.
Oh, nice.
That's beautiful.
Sir, under God, leaving to God. Okay. Thank you. Wonderful responses. Okay. So we'll go back. All right. So thank you all. Thank you all for your wonderful responses. Yes, I think we are there. So here's the scenario. So there is this girl who's gone to a new city, and so her cousin was supposed to pick her up, but then unfortunately he doesn't show up, and so she's all panicky, and then she calls up her family, and the dad is all worried. So he's trying to get her to safety. He's doing his best to whatever he can to make sure that she gets to her destination, but he's all panicky. And then he goes inside his room and he finds his wife sleeping, And it's like, oh my God, what type of mom is this? Your daughter is stuck in this situation. You're sleeping. So the next day, and so it gets sorted out ultimately. Then the next day, he goes and tells his mom, like, how could you just sleep when your daughter is amidst these problems? And she's like, well, I went inside, I prayed to God, I was doing this namasmarana, and I fell asleep, And okay, so that is the scenario here. We want you, based on your, definitions of sacrifice and surrender, take a moment to say, if dad was practicing A, surrender, B, sacrifice, C, both, and D, none. So you can just, put your answers in the chat box. So what was dad's practicing? You can just type A, B, C, D, or so D. Okay, we have D's, none. He was practicing none.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of D's.
A lot of D's. Somebody said B, sacrifice. He was doing sacrifice. Okay, we have B's and D's. Anyone else? D. Okay, so I think D wins. So many of us think it was none, and the answer is none. Yeah. Okay, and we'll say why later. And so, what was mom practicing? Same question.
The A coming in.
Okay, A, surrender. Okay. Many of us think it's surrender. Okay. A. Any more?
Somebody.
C. C said, okay, he said both. All right. Anyone else have a different answer? Okay, the majority thinks A, surrender. Surrender it is. Okay, now let's change the scenario just a little bit, Now let's say this girl, instead of being their daughter, was the daughter's friend. So let's say the daughter calls up her parents, and says, Dad, my friend is in trouble. Somebody was supposed to come pick her up and bring her here, but nobody came, and she's tried to call her parents, but then they're not receiving the phone, and she's in a very, in this situation. Can you please help? So the dad, again, he does whatever he did earlier, like he's all panicked, and then he's, making these efforts to have someone pick her up, all of that stuff. He's putting everything he can. And then again, the mom then goes inside, she does her prayers and falls asleep. The same situation, just that it is not their daughter, it's the daughter's friend. Okay, and now we'll answer the same set of questions. Now, what is dad practicing? So we have B, sacrifice. Sacrifice. Okay. I think it's clear now. D is none. Dad is still doing none. Okay, somebody thinks it's D, but I think the majority of us think it's B. Okay. Let's see what the right answer is. Sacrifice. And so what was mom practicing? A is surrender, and C is both. Okay. Any more answers? Okay. A, surrender. D, none. Both. Okay, we have a variety of answers. Okay, that's good. Okay. So I think very few said C. The answer is C. So it looks like there's a little bit of confusion, which is good. And that is why we have brother here to help us understand this, this topic of sacrifice and surrender better. So, brother, please help us understand the difference between duty and sacrifice and surrender. And
Yeah.
you helped us understand it better using this topic of that fansidar and all, using the malaria treatment. It's very clear in our heads. So can you do that same for the audience?
Sure. See why we use this Sairam, by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagavan. We are again here for this satsang on this particular topic. So in malaria, you can treat malaria using pyrimethamine, but sometimes resistance can develop as well. So what they did was they used sulfadoxine. And sulfadoxine also can create resistance. So what they did a double combination, sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine together, and that became Pensida. That's a new drug. I mean, there's a drug that was commonly used. So like that, when you sacrifice and keep on sacrificing without the element of surrender, there's also a problem. What happens? You come back. Which is a good example of this? A good example is Karna. Karna sacrificed like anything. There's no other epic character in Mahabharata who sacrificed everything, if you notice. Sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. The whole theme of life was sacrifice. At the end of the day, when he was about to die, he could not die. He could not die because the karmic merits of his sacrifice kept him going on like that. He was just living like that. So Krishna had to come disguised as a old man, beggar. I mean, as like a medicine. He came and asked Karna, "Can you give? What do you want me to give you? I have nothing to give. I'm dying here. Yeah, give me all your dharmic merits, all your karmic merits. Give it to me." So Krishna collected all the karmic merits of Karna and released him because Karna sacrificed but did not surrender. See, this is a difference. Huh? So when you sacrifice and when you surrender, then whatever merits that you do for whatever you have done will be taken back. So dedication is very critical in a spiritualist. Those who are giving, I went to the center. Do you know that it's because of me the center is like that? Understand. That day when I came at 4 a.m., I am the one who arranged. So when you keep on exerting this, I did, so you are sacrificing, but you did not surrender. So that itself means that there's a possibility that the positive karmic merits that you have gathered may enable you to go to the other loka after you die, but still have to come back to enjoy the fruits of your fruits of your good deeds. So this is why you need the double combination. Now there's another group of people who surrenders but never sacrifice. Their group, I leave it to God. If God decides, so he has got a surrendering attitude, but no effort to sacrifice. Such individual just remains stagnant. Bhagwan, I gave everything to you, Swami. I gave. Baba said, hey, Swami said, now this nice quote comes into my mind. Swami said, I created the wind, I created the fire. The wind will blow the fire out, but at least you must take the effort to take a glass and cover the flame so that the wind do not blow. That effort at least you must do. And Baba said, only through effort can you get grace. So if we are not going to sacrifice and exert effort, there will also be no results. If we just surrender alone without effort, nothing will happen. If you just by taking a lot of effort to sacrifice but without surrender, that also won't happen. So this yagna spirit is a very powerful technical term used in the Vedic period when people came from all parts of the villages, from different parts, came together and they put the flower, what you call sticks and seeds and all this. For yagna, you need to do all these things, And if you participated in a homa, homa is still continued today. Huh? It is still done today in many, many places. In fact, it is one of the most incredible things. I can give you a story here in Malaysia where we did the yagna. It's a long story, but I'll maybe tell it to you. Remind me to tell it to you at the end. So when we did this, rain came like crazy, and really flooded all over the place. Like that, if you do it with sincerity, with a lot of passion and dedication, you will invoke the blessings of the Lord, the land will become prosperous, happiness is there. That is how the Vedic period, during those periods, they did that. So Krishna is using, do it in the yagna spirit. Whatever work that you're doing, sacrifice and surrender. This is the double combination. Then for a spiritualist, this is very critical for us to remember.
Thank you, brother. And so in the earlier example, right? So where I think because we went back and forth on this, when we do it for our children,
Yeah.
you said there is no sacrifice because it's for your child. It's
Yeah.
yours, isn't it? Versus when you do it for somebody else, then it becomes something for a higher cause. That's what you said.
So Swami has a formula, this three statement. Duty without love is deplorable, Baba said. Then love with duty is dharma. This is normal. Now this normal. Love with, you're going to work. Yeah, I love to go to work. Why you go to work? I need money. Why you need money? Because I need to protect my family. So love with duty is dharma. So I'm going to work. I sacrifice. No, you're not sacrificing you. This is your duty. Now comes the third one. This is the third one. Third one is love without duty is divinity, Baba said. So I have no reason to exert this because it is outside my boundary of my duty. Yet I'm loving. If I love like this, then it becomes a divinity. Then Baba said, because he thought, he must have thought that, by telling, maybe some people may not understand. So what did he do? He sang. Love is my form, truth is my name, bliss is my food. He sang that. Then how, Swami, how should I love? Without reason, without season. He said that, hey, without reason, no reason to love, no season to love. What happens, Baba, if I do like that? No birth, no death. See, the final conclusion is that is mukti. Hey, how to attain mukti? No birth, no. How, Swami? The love that you give must be season, no condition by time and space, and no condition by reason. So what is this? What unconditional love? So the unconditional love can only go when we are without duty and dharmic things. So we are just doing it because we just love to do. So this, for the orientation program of that, is in the Sai Center. How do you do that? Selfless service, go into old folks home to get us orientated from our selfish love to become more and more selfless. Finally, you know what happened? Finally, this will become an integral part of your life. A Sai devotee is like, we are just interested to give. We are giving, giving, giving. We don't even when we give, we don't even consider it sacrifice. We don't. Others may consider it sacrifice, but for us, it is not even considered sacrifice because it's part and parcel of nature. This is exactly what happened. The Bombay students came to Swami, all traveling. Swami, you know what he did? They narrated, early morning we went and gave the old folks home. We went to the children and taught tuition. They narrated a whole list of things that they have done. Then Swami said, yeah, why are you telling me about your duty? This is what Swami just, he finished off like that, just one line. This is what you should be doing. Actually, by right, this is all what we should be doing because we are not doing all these things and we are focusing only on ourselves. Occasionally, we go and give a little bit thing, we consider that a sacrifice. So we actually change the whole equation. So this is why Swami has come back to rectify the situation. By right, you should be completely selfless, totally giving your life to improve the life of others and improve your life of ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Okay, over to you, Kiran.
Yeah, Uncle, that was really beautiful, Uncle. Sorry, this is Kiran here. So I'm from Austin Science Center. Uncle, you talked about surrender and sacrifice. Like I remember Swami saying, like, you have to dedicate 6 hours of time for work, 6 hours of time to sleep, and like other activities, and 6 hours for service. Like, so that was really like six and plus 6 hours to sleep, and like I don't remember the exact proportion, but basically six divided by three times, like work, um,
Okay.
work, sorry, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like it's 6 hours of work, 6 hours of service, and 6 hours of daily activities, and 6 hours of sleep. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So, like that really resonated with me. So, since we are going into types of like sacrifices, like so there is like if we see in this image we have Deva Yagna, which is worship. Worship towards Devta, and Brahma Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, and Manusha Yajna. I think you would be the best person who can describe each of it like quickly so that everybody would know what these are.
Yeah, you see, this is a verse that is coming out from your one of the verses, right? From the Gita verses. You have taken this word am I right? This is taken from
It's
that.
coming in the next, I think, like,
So why don't you read that verse so that people know
yeah,
what?
let's do the verse first. Yeah, sure.
The Vedic ritual or the yagya part?
No, Vedic ritual, because he's talking about the Vedic
Oh,
duties.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. You should thus perform your prescribed Vedic duties since action is superior to inaction. By ceasing activity, even your bodily maintenance will not be possible.
Okay, so when Krishna mentions this, he's thinking about at that period of time, there are certain duties every individual should perform. This must become part and parcel of your nature. The problem here is that because we are so engrossed in our own small little world that we are living in, we forget these basic things that we are doing. And as a result of that, that calamity, disasters, and lot of sorrow is happening in our life. So when they say this, yagna means, I remember the yagna is in the spirit of sacrifice, in the spirit. So when you're doing sacrifice, deva yagna, like homa, participating in this type of very significant understanding the rituals and participating in this type of thing makes a lot of difference, because everyone who comes selflessly and contributes in that spirit contributes to the collective consciousness of selflessness, and this has a chance to trigger higher levels of contemplation in individual, but higher levels of consciousness for others to participate. That's why groups are discussed. That's why organization is created, because you want to create the like-minded people to come together to pray. So Deva Yajna is there. Then Bhuda Yajna is given for animals, for earth, for all these things that we are doing. We must be caring for them. We must be environmentally. We must become very conscious of things. The whole idea of this yajna is to expand consciousness. Do not stick to the consciousness that I'm born for. I will get a job, I'll get married, produce children, and then have a big house and just continue to live in a selfish way. What is the difference between us, our life, and dog's life? Nothing, Actually, basically, the only difference is two legs. They have got four legs, we got two legs. That's all. That's the only difference. But if we're living a dog's life and then putting an element of spirituality in it, in order to make our dog's life better, we will not liberate. It will be just like that. So we have to understand the whole reason of coming into this world is to expand consciousness. My life is my message. Expansion is my life. Baba gave the formula. Expansion of consciousness. My consciousness expand. I must care for animals. I must care for the earth. I must care for. You look at the bottom, the Pitru Yajna and Brahma. Pitru Yajna is the yajna that we also. There are two meanings for this. One, of course, is the respect and reverence to our parents, but the other also is to ancestors, all our past people who have come into this world. We also got to recognize and respect, because without them, we will not be here. So that's why in Chinese culture and tradition, we have ancestor worships there. So we have to, our great grandfather was there, our great great grandmother was there. So we need to respect ancestry worship, ancestry where we came from, and respect the efforts that they have done. So this is, in fact, nowadays what they do is that they consider this mindfulness. The mindfulness exercise have come. So when you take the food, they will tell you to be mindful. You're chewing the food, you have to be remembering where this rice came from. Remember the farmers who planted this rice for you. So just become extremely conscious that a lot of people have existed for our existence. That means everybody has existed for our existence. And then the bosses are there, they're giving the money is the one. You see, you must have that attitude that when you have that attitude, automatically humility will come inside. Automatically, we find that there will be something that we always be do. Then you find that when you're doing Deva Yajna done we do home, whatever you do, whatever work you do, you always think there are, in one of the verses, you'll also see the word celestial beings. Celestial beings. The celestial beings means whatever that we are doing in this world, there must be offerings to the celestial beings. So, which means to say, in this world, there are planes of existence, and we must become very conscious that we are actually sharing space with all others, given a temporary short period of time in order to realize ourselves. Without understanding this basic element, if we go into the world, and continue, we will be so much overwhelmed with a lot of things. That's why in the Grihastha, that's why you call what you call Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasam. Brahmachari is where we learn the entire way on how to live in this world. Then only we are allowed to get married, Grihastha, and produce children. After that, we graduate to Vanaprastha and then become Sannyasam. See, the whole scheme of expansion is like that. So this whole, and then Buddha Yagna, and then we have also Aditya Yagna also, when we do the, what we, visitors are coming to us. So we visit people. That means we treat human beings like God, embodiments of God also. So everything that we do in our life is like an offering. Everything we do in our life is so it becomes a prayer. The reason why you spend 10 minutes in the prayer hall or 5 minutes in the prayer hall is not to end there. Whole thing that you're doing now, when you come out of work, when you treat people, when you see things, everything has to be reverentially seen as an offering to the divine. You know what your life will become? Totally and completely selfless. When you're completely selfless, what will you be? You will be the embodiment of sacrifice. You'll be always giving, and you have no attachment to anything. Why? Because you're completely surrendered. So this two combination is the way to get out of this cycle of life and death. This is what this chapter is about, how to liberate ourselves from the birth of cycle and death.
Yeah, uncle, that is fantastic. Like, I mean, that really resonated with me a lot. But I would say, like, balancing out between work and like, balancing out between work and like your family and like other things, right? You have to take care of friends, like service, and also like giving to the society is also very important.
Yeah.
So at some point of time, one of your family members might be like disappointed that you're not spending enough time, and like you might be not consistent at work as well, right? Like so like it's really important to balance for each one of us.
Yeah.
But like following all of these yagnas, like to be a good Vedic person, like as in like a nice like human being, basically, isn't it too exhausting? Like because we keep
Yeah.
giving, right? Like I was just thinking, like I'm just
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. Kiran, this is why we have 5 koshas. 5 koshas is Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. Do you know the problem with life is we don't spend time on Pranamaya kosha. The problem why you said you used the exact word exhausted. When we use the word exhausted means we don't have energy. In this world, when we want to live in this world, you must have energy. Energy. Energy is the single most important reason why we circulate, we live, we continue to live in the life happily, enjoy with enjoyment. But this prana we have to exercise. So in the morning, we have to do pranamaya, we have to do pranayama, we have to do yoga, we have to do run around, we have to walk around. Just before before I joined this thing, I had to go and do my exercise and I had to do all these things in order to sustain. Otherwise, the body will continuously. Do you know what is the biggest problem in this youth today? Sitting disease. They're suffering from what they call sitting disease. Sit from the sitting disease. This is the term is been used by British Medical Journal. I'm not joking. There's a paper that has been established. Paper has been established. Sitting disease is continuously to sit. So what is the disease? You will get sedentary, lethargy, complacency. Everything will come in. Your body is not being flexible. Your body is not moving. How will you get prana? You tell me. How will you get energy? We ourselves are committing suicide every day because you're sitting in the computer doing, oh, and then that's it. You're taking a knife and killing yourself. Why are you doing that? Because it is a sedentary life. Sitting disease is the greatest disease because we don't activate our prana. We are not exercising. We are not running around. We are not jumping. We are not moving. We are not being flexible. When how to get energy? We won't get energy. When you don't get energy, we'll get exhausted. So when we are fully energetic, we will be enthusiastic to contribute. That's why Swami said, how to be the self confidence will lead to self satisfaction. Self satisfaction is what that leads to self sacrifice, isn't it? What does it mean? That means if you want to sacrifice, the precursor to sacrifice is self satisfaction. So that means Baba says, see, every word is Maha Mantra for Baba. When Baba says something, we just repeat it like a parrot. But actually, if you're not happy, how will you sacrifice? How will you give anything? You won't give. If you only when you're happy and joyous will you give. So that happiness is what we need to achieve fulfillment. Happiness comes from where? Energy. That energy we must tap from the sun, from the right food, right eating. All these precursors are for the purposes of knowing how to surrender and liberate ourselves.
That's beautiful, uncle. I was just thinking that like because we keep like I'm an IT guy, so I keep working. Like if somebody gives me, I just don't take breaks, and like I think it's like I'm doing myself harm. So at least like
Okay.
go around, do some push-ups around, and then like get back to the work. I think.
Kiran, you're allowed to sit down maximum 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes is the maximum time. If anyone who comes to you and give you a lot of job, no problem. Sit down 40 minutes to finish it. 40 minutes you must get up. Purposely go to somebody else's table, go, this one, go somewhere, talk, move your legs, move your hand, come, finish the cycle and then come. If your leg keeps on, or if you sitting down and you continue to exceed your 40 minutes sitting down, you are inviting disease. And then who will benefit from this? The doctors. The medical fraternity is waiting for you, all of you, waiting for us, for doctor, my back is paining, doctor, my this is paining, and then we get so depressed. And then whose else is waiting? The mental health doctors. The other side, they're waiting there also. Both people are waiting because we didn't follow the simple Gita prescription. Vedic duties, we didn't exercise that. So this is what happens in our cycle, where people take advantage about our ignorance of the subject. Gita is not just some scriptural study, just study. The spiritual people, oh, I studied Gita, oh, I studied Upanishad. It's not for that purpose. It is for the purposes of a lively, dynamic living in this world, so that we can meet the challenge. When you have energy, only you can meet the challenges and exceed your challenges, isn't it? So that kind of inspiration must be there. That's what this Vedic duties means. Everything in life you have to be very conscious of. Very, very consciously we should become aware of.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Uncle. Shall we switch to the
Yeah, we
next?
should move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sai Ram, there is a question in the audience if you want to take that, Uncle.
Sure.
If all these Swami has laid down for us as our solemn duties, what is sacrifice in its true sense?
Actually, to be honest, this is where I learned from Dr. Reddy when I came to our LA conference. In the last conference we had, I took back this powerful message, that came from the interview that I was having with Dr. Reddy called Rapid Fire. If you look at that will be there. He said something and I picked that up, and it was so powerful, and that hit my head like crazy. So I said, when he was called, when Baba called him suddenly, please come, and then so 1-2 weeks he has to close the clinic down. So I asked him, then this is not sacrifice. Then he said, how can this be considered sacrifice? Because if I give this job, if I leave this and go there, I'm getting something more. If you are getting something more, how can what you give up considered sacrifice? Sacrifice is when you should get something less. That blew my mind. No, I tell you, it was so powerful. And I tell you honestly, that is exactly so. When you give your time, energy, effort, everything else, you are gaining something higher and higher and higher levels of bliss. How then can you consider that what you give up is sacrifice? You understand? That means example. I love in a typical for you to understand. I like this girl, and then I want to marry her. My friend also like her. Then I moved back. I put 2 steps behind and say, never mind, you go. So what I do? I sacrificed her for my friend. Okay, that is considered sacrifice. I'm just typically taking the script from Sangam. Okay, so I move 1 step back. I allow my friend to go. I sacrifice the girl whom I love for my friend because he is alive. That is called I gave up something. In this case of God, where when I'm giving up my time, I'm giving up energy for what? To get grace. What do I get the grace? To get bliss. What is bliss? Bliss is 10 to the power 18 levels of happiness. I'm getting quintillion level of bliss or happiness. If I can get that highest level of bliss, how can you consider that I giving up something a sacrifice? It is actually a prerequisite for me to get there. So in the same sense, there is nothing that we are making a sacrifice. Actually, technically, when you're going to the Sai movement, when you're doing this, when you're actively participating in the Sai organization, you are preparing yourself for the highest state of consciousness, which nothing in this world can offer you. Nothing in this world can match it. I'm telling you, nothing. I calculated everything. 40 years I've been examining it. Can liquor, that's why I've not drunk a single drop of alcohol in my blood, because I saw the people are drinking all that time they're drinking, next day they suffer from a hangover. So that's also gone. I see people pubbing, clubbing, nothing also. Everything is just a limit, a finite level of happiness. It's only in spirituality that you can get infinite level of bliss. Why not I go for something higher than all these small mundane things? So that's why you're not sacrificing. Actually, you are just preparing your life for something higher.
I think we can move on now. Thank you, brother. Yeah, Chitra.
Sairam, thanks. This is a really interesting conversation. I was thinking, when we're talking about all of these yagnas, where I was thinking about applying it at work also, just like brother was saying. And I was thinking about, oftentimes what I see is naturally what happens is people try to climb the ladder. And so a lot of times, even if they may have good intentions, they end up in a position of managing their image more so than following all and adhering to all the values. So, therefore, this managing the image becomes what they want to do. I may not do that because I want to sincerely provide for all the people who work with me. I want to support their success. But I'm also thinking of how is this related to this Bhagavad Gita verse? And here what it says is the celestial gods, being satisfied by the performance of sacrifice, will grant you all the desired necessities of life. But those who enjoy what is given to them without making offerings in return are verily thieves.
Yeah.
So is it meaning that if someone uses this image management to better themselves and get higher positions and all that, then they're basically thieves?
Yeah. So it means two things. Let's use the corporate language of managing an image. Since we are using corporate language, let's use that, managing an image. Then the question is, what is the image that we are trying to manage? If the corporate people are supposed to manage images created by the mind, and then you're managing that image of the mind, it's very superficial. It'll get destroyed at some point, especially when the challenges becomes overwhelming. But in spirituality, you are supposed to manage that image. What image? Baba said, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're the Atma. So then we are already exhausted. We went through months of satsang where we described each one. Image is what you call Atma is indestructible, Atma is immutable, Atma is infinite, and all the qualities of the Atma. Let us say if I were to practice those qualities and preserve those images of the Atma, I'm telling you, you'll climb like nobody's business because the Atma says, I'm indestructible. That means my perseverance will never be shaken by whatever comments that people are making. And my energy is so infinite that even if you give me a term of reference, I will go beyond and do whatever work that necessarily needs to be done. I'm immutable. That means I don't change. I steadily focus on the corporate vision and achieve it to the highest. Now tell me, if this is the image that I am protecting, completely the Atmic image, not only that, I have a self-satisfaction in me, which means I do work according to the best of my ability. I surrender it. There's no reason for me to, the ladder will come to me, not that the ladder I will have to climb. The ladder will come and I don't even have to climb. It'll be escalator. I'll be just standing there. Escalator went up. This escalator going up and suddenly you reach on the top. I don't know. I was just doing my work and now I am right at the top. How did you manage? Because Krishna said, those who do work onto me, your yoga shema for this life and the next, I will take care. So whenever you do work with sincerity and enthusiasm and completely focus on the higher vision, then you're exerting more. Once you're exerting more than what you get, the celestial gods will be satisfied. Whereas others who are just watching the clock and manipulating their time and just pussyfooting all over the place and trying to, they will not go. They'll only go to, you will think that they're going up. It'll come to a point where they'll stop. There's a book called How Will You Measure Your Life? It's written by a Harvard University professor. And he wrote this book in thinking that Harvard University students, they were all there scoring the highest marks, highest points in life. And they were really married the best and everything else. But after many years, they look back, he interviewed those people. Some of them suicided. Some of them had 2-3 marriages. Some of them collapsed. One of them was involved in scandals, all that. So they asked, what is then then he was questioning, what is then that we are teaching these people? What is it that they are trying to reach at a certain point when we graduate them, but they do not know how to manage the challenges? Harvard Business is a Harvard Business book. So therefore, the whole idea is that if you base your entire life on an Atmic grounding and continue to manage that image that I am not the body, I am not the mind, but I am the Atma, and continue to dedicate life in a yagna spirit, you will inevitably rise and reach the super peak of your organization. This is the guarantee by the celestial gods. That's what this verse is saying.
Wow. So, in other words, if I were to sacrifice, or any one of these people are to sacrifice their own desire for success in the organization, then the whole organization will blossom, and also we will have a more healthy work environment. Is that kind of the message that you're saying? And ultimately, we will be rewarded by the celestial gods.
I think you should not sacrifice your personal desire to succeed, but do not sacrifice the desire of the organization to succeed. You see, this is the difference. You shifted the desire from personal gain to something bigger, something higher. That's why you see, like when we do our work, it's not because it's because Swami must this and the Swami's movement must move up. Swami's organization must see. We are thinking like this. When you are thinking like this, you're not thinking about yourself. You transplanted the ego. Actually, this is ego transplant. You've taken the ego from your own self and put it on the other side. So when you put it on the other side, you don't have, so you're just doing. You find your vasanas are exhausted. You will transcend the mind and reach the God. This is the mechanism of spiritual liberation, which is what this particular chapter 3 verse 12 is telling you. So if we continue our life like that, always think, how can I improve this organization? See, your question must be, even if the boss is saying, your question must be, how can I improve this organization? I look at all the internet, I look at the competition, how can I leverage the I'm thinking of how to push even the CEO is not thinking about this. How do I move this organization to the next level? That's what I must be thinking. Hey, why are you thinking like that? Are you getting any pay? No. Are you getting recognition? No. Then why are you thinking? Because I'm a Gita Yagna spiritualist. I have to think like this. When I think of this nature, that's it. Which is what they interviewed me in the university when I entered my university. So what if I by employing you, what will I gain? I will put the university on the world map. I told him. That's what I said. I will put the university on the world map. I said that. And true enough, after 15 years, I took it to the World Health Organization and put the university in the world map for certain things that we did. So like that, you must have a higher vision for the organization and work tirelessly for that particular thing and improve the organization. That's it. When you do that, not for your personal recognition, because recognition will follow. This is why Mahavishnu, if you look at Mahavishnu, he's lying on the bed, right? When he's lying on the bed, look at who's at the feet. Who's at the Mahavishnu's feet? Do you know? Anybody? Lakshmi is at the feet. Lakshmi is what? Prosperity, health, wealth, fame, and glory, all at Mahavishnu's feet. But look at him. He is not looking at her. He is looking only at the vision. When you look at the vision and work for a higher vision, fame, glory, name will be at your feet. But you don't need to go for that. That will follow you like a shadow. This is the formula of a spiritualist.
Brother, there's somebody in the audience saying, I got replaced multiple times by doing that. US is not India.
Because the reason why you're replaced multiple times is because the universe is telling you that you will be finally inheriting a seat of position that will glorify and give you all what you need, if you are truly living to this ideal. So you need to be patient for that particular seat to come. So the universe is preparing you for something bigger, if you are genuinely doing this. This comes under the subject of surrender. You see, when you're done your work, you sacrifice a lot. Now you surrender. Oh Lord, now I've been replaced. Finally, one seat will come. Oh, fine. Oh, is this why you did this for me? You'll ask God.
Wow, thank you. I think you've given us a really high aspiration, so we should all aim for that. Thanks. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Sai Ram, everyone. So just like Suresh Uncle said, right? It's not about the image. So we have to sacrifice that little I. So this image here is embodying that message of sacrificing that little I within us, that fame, if you will, that ego. So I just want to open it up to the floor. If you guys can see that sacrifice in this image, there's no right or wrong answer, anything that comes to mind. You can unmute or you can put it in the chat box, either. I see leaves. Okay. Ramesh Uncle, does that mean anything to you? The leaves falling?
They have produced their, they help the tree produce the food, and now they are ready to move on to the next part of the life to become a manure for the tree.
Oh, beautiful. somebody said rings of Saturn and surrender. Feel free to unmute and add more if you'd like. Leaves equal letting go of the old.
And somebody said Bohr model. I don't know
Yeah,
what.
I don't know what that is. Yeah. Who is that?
Jai
Yes.
Rajagopal. Yeah.
Can you please expand on that because I don't know what that model is.
Yeah, even I'm too dumb to understand that. So sorry.
It's just the model of the atom. It's a kind of older model from the early 1910s before we had a better understanding of how, atoms work. So, yeah.
Atomic structure. Okay. All of these are beautiful answers. Actually, this image does deconstruct to a larger image or a larger message. So we'll go ahead and play the video right now so you guys can see that. This image highlights the journey and elements that we must sacrifice in order to sacrifice our little I. We begin with the first element, the mirror. The mirror shows us the reflections we have of ourselves and that which others have of us. While we work to improve ourselves to become better men and women of society, we must realize that we must sacrifice these in the yagna so that we may do our karma for society without the recognition. Second comes the falling leaves. This signifies our ever-changing personality. While we must improve our personality and behavior, this too doesn't define us. We must sacrifice our attachment to this identity to serve society. Third comes the atom. The atom shows us our role in society, be it a father, mother, teacher, etc. While this role helps us understand how we must serve, through its experiences, it also shapes our belief systems. And our attachment to these rigid beliefs must also be sacrificed. Then comes the moon. The moon represents our mind and thoughts. And while we should always strive for purity in thoughts, this association with our mind and thoughts too must be sacrificed. This then leaves us with our last element, the earth, our bodies. This too must be sacrificed, for our bodies are merely the apparition we use to carry out our actions. After sacrificing our association to all these elements, we feel as though we've sacrificed all that must be sacrificed. However, there are multiple layers that we must continue to shed and sacrifice to find our true self, the core, our constant integrated awareness, our Atma. Sairam, I actually, before moving on, want to ask Suresh Govindji a question. So as we're sacrificing this and we're getting closer to our core, our Atma, isn't it strange? Usually we sacrifice without anything in return and we're sacrificing a lot. But in this case, we sacrifice everything and get so much more.
Yeah. Very true, Natasha. That's why we can't even consider this a sacrifice, because this is a process in order for us to reach the highest. It's like gym. If you keep on sacrificing time and energy, you get your muscles. When you get your muscles, then how can you? That is something that you need to give up in order for you to get something higher, isn't it? So the point of the story is that this is our primary duty in our life. But unfortunately, the Maya that has come around, and it is so much through the technology and all that, it keeps us preoccupied that we find this is not a priority. The journey within, as you took us now into the core, is not a priority. It is just a side dish compared to anything else. A side dish in a good meal, that's a good, nice side dish you have. But actually, this is the real reason why we have come. So if you prioritize and start transcending, start looking, moving away from the senses, start controlling our mind, regulating our intellect, and slowly getting to the inner core. Once you get to the inner core, you're safe, you're blissful. So the world of waves will be on the top of the ocean, but you're always peaceful at the seabed. That is the whole purpose of spirituality, and that is why the avatar has come. So you're actually getting something more than what you have bargained.
Thank you, Uncle. I guess with that, we'll move on to a small visualization, which highlights the journey. So I want everyone to visualize a yagna happening in front of them. The sacred fire is in front of you. For what higher goal is this yagna happening? And what is it that you would like to sacrifice in that yagna?
Give up a negative quality, right?
Yes.
I think it can be negative qualities or the belief systems that prevent us from reaching that higher goal.
Sairam, whatever I could gather, I'll quickly share, and Kiran, please feel free to add. There were quite a few people with concerns about separation between work life and work life and Swami's, remembering Swami during work life, unable to do that. And some people wanted to do more service activities at the center and participate more in service. They are unable to do as much. So some sisters expressed interest in throwing their bad qualities into the Agni. That's my takeaway on it.
Right.
Kiran, would you
Yeah.
like to add to that?
Yeah. So most of our group were like having if I asked like what would you do, like the fourth question, right? Like what would you do if you don't like have the expected result, right? Like, and most of them like were in state of surrender. So they said like it's like I did my duty, like, so I would not expect anything out of my karma. Sairam.
Thank you. Siddhartha? Were you in a separate room? Yeah, go ahead.
Ours was a small room, but the discussion that we had was, what's your higher goal? Again, it started with selflessness and the art of letting go, being able to stay detached. That's an higher goal. And there was one more thinking about just being a better human being, just growing in our spiritual journey. And for blockers or things that is preventing is not blockers or challenges more for them. It's just practicing it over and over again, just doing it over and over again to remind ourselves of our higher goal and then working towards it. And
So one easy way of doing this is that you find out the greatest discomfort you have. That's all. We need in our room. Most of the people always like to find the comfort. Find the greatest discomfort with an individual, or discomfort with a certain work, or discomfort with something that you really find uncomfortable. Then discover why you are having discomfort with that, and then go to the root cause of the discomfort, and then surrender that. And then you'll find that that's the best way. Then you find that you can measure the progress, because if you don't like somebody or something, and then you can throw it into the fire, you see 1 week later, 2 weeks later, whether your love is blossoming for that individual, or the work that you're doing becoming more. That's how to measure progress. Go to areas of discomfort. That's why Swami said, love my uncertainty. You must go to areas of discomfort to discover who you are, not be in the area of comfort, because if you're in the area of comfort, you'll never grow. This is the secret of this particular exercise of yagna. Putting in the yagna fire means I get the fear. Look at where is the area that you have the highest fear. Throw that into the fire, like that.
Thank you, brother. Anusha, you want to go?
Yeah. Sairam, ours was also fairly a smaller group. The biggest question that one of our participants had was, how do I know what is my higher purpose? I think that in itself was a block or a barrier I was hoping, Uncle, if you can shed some light on that. Secondly, the discussion was mainly about how our mind always frames challenges for us very easily, how it creates those barriers. And one participant also shared some techniques like Namasmarana and having that constant awareness of our actions and our beliefs, how that can help overcome those barriers. But how do we truly know what our higher purpose is, Uncle?
So basically, if that question can only come about by asking what is the current experiences that we are having. Example, if you have reached A levels, you've reached A levels, the student must ask, can I go further? What is my higher purpose? What is my higher career? What is it that I must ask these questions? Then only I can go and choose the right career. After that, right course. After choosing the right course, I must ask, okay, how can I apply? What is it that then you find a career. After you find it, is this all? Is there something that I must do? This question of quest for individual must come from within to find out and that's why Swami said, unless we question, we will never come to the answer. That's why Jnana Yoga, the Jnani will always ask questions. So if we are happy with what we have, then fine, no problem. But whatever that you're happy with, is it going to last? That's the next question. Whatever that your position that you're right now having, is this going to be there forever? This kind of deep questioning can come about only when we have Shanti. So when we have Shanti, you get Buddhi. So more and more peace we develop, more and more higher intelligence will grow. That question will give you rise to searching for higher purposes and higher meaning of life. That's how the quest will go. But if you come to a point where, that's why you always find staircase to the temple. You go to the staircase, go higher, then go higher. It gets plateau, then higher, then plateau higher. The staircase defined is plateau higher, plateau higher. So what happens is we reach a certain stage of plateau, we must question now, is this enough? Is it good enough? Is this all that what it is? Am I born only for this particular purpose? This discontentment must come inside our system. That can only happen if you really love God. This is another way. So if you really love a girl, really love a girl, you won't stop, isn't it? You want to buy this present, you want to buy another cake, you want to go and get another, hey, shall we go? Whatever you do, you're not enough because you seem to think that nothing can, you want to do something so fantastic that nobody else can do. Like that, if you love God, something that really want to please him, always want to make him happy. When you want to make that happy, there's a quest. Once that quest comes in, greater meaning comes in. Once greater meaning, then the hook starts coming inside. So number one, increase my intensity of love for him. Number one. Number two, increase the discontent. Whatever that I can do. Can I do this more? Can I be better? Can I do? Keep on questioning like that. You'll find the higher purpose suddenly appearing in front of you.
Thank you, Uncle.
Fourth group?
Of group 4, Sairam brother. We had a lot of people who had beautiful goals like serving with love and goals where we always feel the non-doership and acting, practicing inner silence. And then for these types of goals, people were saying they would like to sacrifice their impatience because sometimes you get irritated with things. Then and the things that they wanted to do additionally was like additional meditation and being non-judgmental about people. And it's some people were interested in sacrificing their mind, their inconsistency, sometimes laziness, because we have planned for doing many things, but we only achieve 50% of what we plan. And so another beautiful thing that we heard was really thinking about Swami every moment, not even stopping feeling his presence. Always, how do I feel that presence? And that was the goal. And how do we achieve it? And some of the things that we heard from the group for achieving the goal of non-doership is where we were trying to sacrifice our expectations too. So with no expectations, it's really, and also sacrificing the body itself, so you can just think that you are not the body, but then it's Swami who's working through you. So those were the things that we heard from our group. Thank you.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. So this is the, I mean, if we can give up of this, some of these things and sacrifice these qualities, then we will. But actually, when you really look at it introspectively, because now in a group maybe, but when you individually look at it, there will be that's why follow the master, face the devil. That's why Swami said, follow the master, face the devil. You cannot get the devil out unless you see the master. This is the problem. The devil will become part and parcel of our life. Only when you follow the master can the devil come out. You see, that's why how it is arranged nicely. So follow the master. That means I want to reach. Okay, what is it stopping me? Then you look back. The devil comes out. Yeah, laziness, complacency, lethargy. This is the devils that are. Then you sacrifice that devil into the fire. Then you'll find you will be able to reach. So the sacrifice, and then we must make sure that devil doesn't come up. This is why Lord Shiva, you notice when he's dancing, there is that demon at the bottom of the feet. You know, the Nataraja dance, there's a demon there. You look at the demon, is not dead, is alive. So the demon is always waking up and always struggling, but the Lord is stepping on it. Like that, we need to become vigilant so that the negative element does not come back again and keep on disturbing us. So this sadhana, we must become continuously vigilant. Then the yagna spirit will become more and more realistic. We'll get inspired. So tomorrow when you go back to work, okay, you must only ask this question, are you inspired to work? Are you inspired to work? This is the only question that you need to ask. When you go back to work tomorrow, are you inspired to work? Are you inspired to be in your own family? Are you inspired? So every day, if that inspiration, continue to live in that inspiration, that itself is yoga and experiencing. Yeah. Thank you.
And we talked about perseverance too, because we're never achieving everything, but until we achieve it, we'll have to. That's what you're talking about, the demon, right? Like we have to continuously.
Keep on doing it, because until the very end, that's why the snake in the Lord Shiva is around the neck. You can kill it, you can take it and throw. Why did you put it around your head? Because Shiva is the distraction. So finally, when you're returning back to the Lord, the final thing is ego that will always be there dancing in front of you like that. So that is the vigilance we should be having, and the perseverance to continue the journey till the very end. So that perseverance must be there. So that's why how you check this, if you're holding any post, even if the post is not there, continue to serve Swami, continue to come to how to improve the center, how to improve the organization. Now, keep on asking this question. You're part and parcel of a plugging hole. How to reach to more people, how to get the message across. This is the mission work. If you keep on having this mission work, you will be continuously within the orbit of service.
Thank you. Sarah.
Hi, Ram. Has everyone gone? All the rooms? Ours was also with some of us thought like world peace is our higher goal. And, like we've seen monks walking along and, doing also what could we contribute, right? So we're thinking like maybe we ourselves stay at peace. And then maybe we ourselves sacrifice these little moments of irritation and anger, right? So probably that could also add to the collective peace. And one of the brothers shared, like, the turtle when it lays the egg, just by the thought, the eggs hatch. That means if the turtle dies, then the eggs don't hatch. So that is the power of thought, or that or our being happy feeds to the collective happiness and vice versa. So probably that could be a higher goal too.
Yeah. So you see, since the turtle experience is used, example was used in Viveka Chodamani. The turtle has got 5 limbs. So the way the turtle does is the 5 limbs get withdrawn. So the example of senses withdrawal was used in the turtle when the 5 limbs are withdrawn. So in order to get peace in the world, see, we need not walk like the monks like that, but we can in our own life experience a great sense of peace. Just sitting in your own house, you just feel happy. Don't let your mind, I'm happy, I'm very happy. Just keep on saying that I'm very happy. I feel so blessed. I'm so happy. Just say that to your mind so that the chakras can start rotating in a clockwise. All the 7 chakras must rotate in the clockwise. I don't want this worry. I want this mind to be empty. I want this experience. So keep on saying this to yourself. and experience peace, because already the world is in conflict. Already there's so much of disturbances going on. Even in your country, US also, so many turbulences are going. So why should I continue to enter inside there and get turbulent and then come back and worry and read here, read there? You have no ability to manage that. Then why go into it? But if you can just get into your own system and experience your peace, that peace will be contributing to the overall peace that is in the world. That's why Swami said, when we did the Sounds of Peace Song Festival in 1987, where 10,000 people, you did a big stadium rock concert like that. We wanted to create a souvenir program. So Brother Jega went to Swami to ask a message. This is called Sounds of Peace Song Festival. His message was, how can people who do not have peace give peace to other people? That's what his message. And I thought that was a very powerful message. That message was written in the souvenir program. How can individuals who have no peace within themselves ever give peace to anybody else? So the most important question, as the greatest contribution as Sai devotees we have, in your own life, in your own peace, peaceful, be happy. When you get up in the morning, you feel happy with your spouse, happy with your father, happy with your mother, happy with nature. Just be happy, and experience this continuous configuration of your chakras and the energy moving in your system, and just get lost in that whole thinking process, happy process, and let the world benefit from that vibration. That itself is the greatest sadhana that you can ever give. This is the greatest contribution of peace that you can give. This in itself, and then when you get up from the seat of meditation and then you go out, everyone whom you interact also will have that kind, same aura, same peace, same happiness. Then that's a service that you can do. And then when you get to people, don't again talk about the conflict and all that. Don't talk like that, because they will aggravate. Oh, did you hear this? Did you see that? And then again, it doesn't add to anything. They talk about the things that is the good things, that is the positive. Hey, did you see Swami's thing? Did you see that? New conversation. That means, in other words, in life, you need to find new conversations. That means start having new conversations with people. Don't again go back to politics and go back. Hey, how was the thing? How did you do? Did you do the yoga? Everything, search for that exercise. And then whenever you get into a conversation where you find the conversation they are all talking about all the other stuff, get inside your mind and switch off. You need to learn how to be there. Don't need to say, oh, I'm spiritual now, I don't talk about all these things. We don't have to tell everybody how spiritual you are, but it is important that you be there. Your eyes is looking, but your mind is switched off. When your mind is switched off, you're nodding your head, you're there, but it's not coming into your system. This is what is meant by lotus in the dirty mud. When you have in the muddy, dirty environment, a lotus, make your mind like a lotus, let the conversation go. You feel not at all affected by it. Just enjoy thank you, Sairam. Move off from the conversation. Like that, when we learn to become like this, you will be unaffected. Once you're unaffected, your chakras will just keep on rotating in a clockwise. This is the greatest purity. And this purity can only come when you have three karana shuddhi. The shuddhi must be very aligned. Why? Because you're preparing yourself for the highest merger when you finish your life. So, not only finish your life, every day we are merging with divine. That experience must be there. I'm coming to see you, Swami, I must be pure. Not carry all these things of gossip, this, the you. I tell you, sometimes all the nonsense that happens in the world, when people talk about all these things, it just makes makes it miserable. So immediately you move away from such things and all that. So this is important. This is very important for us to learn how to live a spiritual life.
Thank you.
Especially for those who have been orientated towards the Atma. Once you know the Atma, boom, you protect the thing. Then you preserve it like anything. This is our greatest treasure in our life. Does it make sense to others who are here? You want to say, are we making sense in all what we are doing? Is this something practical? Brothers and sisters who are here? Otherwise, it will be just by a group of people who, others who are here. You want to say
I
something?
think this is the first time I'm joining this session. I regret for not joining earlier sessions. But Sunday is the day we have center, and by the time we come home, it's quite late, and I think this session starts right at that time. But I think the examples that I heard so far in this session, I'm an SSC teacher, and these are just amazing. So thank you so much for what you are doing, the amount of effort and amount of clarity that has gone into these thought processes is amazing.
Yeah. Sister, these people, this group of facilitators, prior to coming to this session, they already spent, in fact, if I may use the word sacrifice, they already had 3 or 4 rounds and making sure preparation, slide preparation, making
Yeah.
sure the content. So a lot of sacrifices are also made by the group to make it like this. So that in itself gives you intensity. The flow becomes very coherent, and the ideas becomes very coherent in order for us to contemplate. So that also we must thank the dedicated group of people for doing this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah. While I have the mic, maybe I can ask, because the lotus example that you gave, that was one example we were using in my class for self-satisfaction, to build the walls of self-satisfaction on the foundation of self-confidence. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. And social media was something that was brought up by my students, and I suffer from that too. That the sense control is lost, and time flies away, and students are not able to do their homework. And I, being an adult, sometimes, oh my God, I've wasted so much time. How do we tackle this?
So using the lotus example in a muddy, dirty environment, the lotus is since you use the word self-satisfaction, so unless you are happy inside, you will not, there's no necessity for you to link up to anything outside. The outside is a dirty, muddy environment. In fact, a lotus doesn't grow on a clean water. It needs a dirty environment. It needs a muddy environment. Then only the lotus will grow. But the beauty of the lotus is that the mud and the stains of does not stick onto the petals. That is why in Hindu god forms they use Saraswati, Lakshmi, all these god, even the Chinese Kuan Yin sits on this lotus. So the lotus determines purity. So when you look at when you scroll and when you look at all the videos that come by, if you click on to those videos, in fact, you can just pick up a youth and just look through the video. Which are the videos that you normally screen? That is the vasana that you have. Let us assuming that you go to sites that you should not go to, or go to all the unnecessary. This is the vasana. The vasana attracts. The world is always like that. It is your inner world that attracts the outer world. That's why Baba said reflection, reaction, resound. The world is not dirty. It is just that our system is polluted. So the pollution in our mind attracts the pollution in the outer world. So this can be a very good assessment to determine how much vasanas you have, how much purity you have. But if you go by your point that you said self-satisfaction means you're already satisfied with your higher self inside. You're so fulfilled because you got God inside. You're so happy. You're so joy. When we are so fulfilled and joy, the mind will never want to explore. You're contented. So that is how we keep the inner purity. Once we are inner pure, that is why Swami said self-satisfaction will go towards self-sacrifice. You start giving up. That is why all the Swamijis, all the men who went up to the Himalayan, women also went up to the Himalayan mountains, they got purified and they were realized, what did they do? They came back and started spiritual movements, isn't it? Why? Because they want to sacrifice. When you go towards self-sacrifice, only then can you self-realize. So the more and more you give yourself away to this world, only then can the realization take place of the highest state of consciousness. So this satisfaction, utilizing the lotus, can be utilized for that purpose in order to retain our purity, so that our mind do not get drifted and attracted by the huge social media that is there. So in order for us to instill that discipline, maybe we can say that if you try, even if you 1 hour, okay, 20 minutes you give, but the whole day you give some timing for that. And even if you want to access that, you give a quality of attraction. See, in the videos, there's motivation. There are motivational videos. There are videos that have got very high power thing. At the same time, there are very negative things also said that, and people easily go and scroll there. So when you easily scroll there, get them to understand who is doing this. Why is it that you're interested to go there? Your mind is dirty. Your mind is polluted. That is why it's going there. It is nothing to do with the video. If I can make that person understand that point, that's it. We got him rescued. That is the Balvika's teacher or SSC teacher should enable him to get to that point of realization.
But aren't we making the students guilty by saying your mind is polluted, thereby you're going to I was not asking them about the content of the videos, but we were talking about how to minimize and how to control. Like you gave an example that let's go ahead, fix a schedule for being on social media.
Yeah, even when you fix a schedule, let us assuming that you fix a schedule and every 20 minutes or 1 hour you fix a schedule. Fixing a schedule is disciplining. Okay, that means to say you created the riverbank. Disciplining is about riverbank. But in a riverbank, you must also have river flowing. The river flowing is the content. So now, after getting him to be disciplined, the next level of tightening the screw is to basically look at how do you improve not the quantity, but the quality of what you look at. Because this is what the whole transformation is all about, increasing the quality. So the quality assessment of what you look at in the outer world is determined by what you have inside, isn't it? So basically, at the end of the day, we also teaching them, don't forget, we're teaching them discrimination. And discrimination is why you pray to Ganapati. Even every bhajan you sing, you see in every Sai center, every bhajan you sing, the first song is to Ganapati. Why you are praying to Ganapati? Is because the Lord of discrimination. Discrimination means determining, filtering away what is unwanted and taking only what is wanted. So we need to teach the individual to know what is wanted and what is not wanted. That is the single most important quality of making sure that the quality of your thoughts are good. Only when the quality of thoughts can be good, can their mind will be able to transcend and reach the higher goals. So this is one part of the learning that we need to empower, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. One room needs to give their summaries real quick. So,
okay, let's go.
Hiranmai, can you please unmute yourself and share?
Yes. We did understand that the overall higher goal, it was self-realization. But we also did recognize each of our individual goals were that, some mentioned that feeling guilty for setting up boundaries or prioritizing other tasks in their life that required it. Also mentioned habit of procrastination, letting go of the I, me, mine ego, reaching out to help without hesitation or any conditions, or only when it's convenient for us. Convenience, personal freedom, looking for like recognition. Also, it was mentioned that comfort or desires and overthinking about personal decisions. And in fact, I think a good example that I think I found was helpful was about specifically what sacrifice meant was about Tyagaraja, who was, once a king, but he let go of all of that, the worldly material, in order to become closer to God. And whereas others who were, looking at Tyagaraja's position, they were like, oh, you let go of all of this. But he actually turned it back on them and said, you actually let go of God in order to get all of these worldly material. So yeah, that's the summary from our group.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. So we should conclude. We're almost out of time. So the homework is whatever was talked of today, whatever we thought of, please put it into action. And we'll meet next month, March 1st. Thank you, brother, as always, for your guidance. And thank you to all our facilitators who were here and also those who worked behind the scenes tirelessly. And to all our participants, you've been great. Thank you for your active participation.
Anvita, are you not talking about the mid-month?
Yeah. I was, because we were late, right? That's why. Okay, brother. Because you said, okay, I'll say it. So we've started this mid-month satsangs since the last month. So what we are doing is, if you are having a hard time following whatever we are talking about here, so some challenges maybe, you can come to this mid-month satsang which will happen in 2 weeks. And if you don't want to talk about any of this Bhagavad Gita stuff, if there are challenges in your life that you're having a hard time and you don't know where to talk about it, you can come to these sessions. This is a very small session. Last time we had just like 5 or 6 people. You could think of it as a vent out session. If you want a private session, like just with brother, you can even send out a form. Like you can have a one-on-one, but that won't be on that session. You can talk to him some other time. But if there are things that is really bothering you and you want to talk, like it'll be a supportive group with like very few people, and we'll just encourage each other, to get to the other side. So that's the goal of this mid-month satsang. So please do join us and keep an eye out for the invite.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. All right. So with that, thank you all. And we'll end with Om and Three Shantis. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you.
Saira, thank you.
Hi, Ram. Thank you.
Hi, Ram. Thank you.